It is an honor to introduce Mr. Anurag Seth, a generative AI thought leader who currently serves as a principal AI ML advisor at AWS Startups. He is a transformational technologist and accomplished executive with over 25 years of experience in driving innovation and building high-performing teams. Mr. Anurag is a seasoned technologist, entrepreneur, startup mentor, and investor, and comes with a unique mix of deep hands-on experience across semiconductor chip design and electronic design automation. He also served as a partner and CTO at a Singapore-based deep tech venture capital fund, Temzu ICT Fund, and India MD at Kawasaki Microelectronics. A graduate of the Birla Institute of Technology and Science, Pilani, and an alumnus of Indian Institute of Foreign Trade and Indian School of Business, Mr. Seth blends academic excellence with vast professional expertise. We are privileged to have him with us today. His vast experience and strategic vision makes him an invaluable asset to today's session, and we eagerly look forward to his insight. May I request Mr. Arpit Singh, Coordinator, Data Analytics and Research Enthusiast Club of LBSIM, to kindly welcome Mr. Anurag Seth with a planter as a token of our appreciation. Thank you.
It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Kunal Gupta, a visionary leader with over 20 years in decision sciences and data analytics. He is currently serving as a Senior Vice President, Data Sciences, GenAI and Analytics at Deloitte. Mr. Gupta established the generative AI practices at Z, AI and ML Center of Excellence at Yes Bank, and partnered with Google and Microsoft for strategic advancements. Skilled in customer analytics, big data, and generative AI, he pioneered omni-channel recommendation engines and modernized data warehouses. Mr. Gupta holds MBA from SP Jain and an engineering degree. Mr. Gupta's work spans across retail, banking, media, and manufacturing, blending technical expertise with strategic insights. We are honored to have Mr. Gupta with us today, and we eagerly look forward to gaining insights from his wealth of experience and expertise. May I request Mr. Abhiutkarsh Agarwal, Vice President, Management Grid, to kindly welcome Mr. Kunal Gupta with a planter as a token of our appreciation.
It is an honor to introduce Ms. Vaishali Sakhuja, a seasoned leader currently working as an area sales director with HCL Technology. She is a business leader with over 19 years of experience and expertise in global business, sales, solution, and pre-sales. She has contributed to global revenue growth of $550 million at HCLTech and earned accolades such as the O Infinity League of Outstanding HCLite Award. Her expertise spans industries like healthcare, energy, public service, manufacturing, and retail. She is a certified Reiki master practicing from the last 25 years. Recently, she got certified in Ho'oponopono healing practices as well. Ms. Vaishali received her MCA degree from LBSIM and BA Honours in Mathematics from Delhi University. We are honored to have Ms. Sakhuja with us today, and we look forward to gaining insights from a wealth of experience and expertise. May I request Mr. Shivesh Tripathi, Treasurer Management Grid LBSIM, to kindly welcome Ms. Vaishali Sakhuja with a planter as a token of our appreciation. Thank you.
It is a privilege to introduce Mr. Sandeep Dinodiya, a visionary technology leader with over 15 years of extensive experience in technology. Mr. Sandeep Dinodiya He is the founder and CEO of SimplAI, an agentic AI platform company based in San Francisco and India. Previously, Mr. Dinodiya served as the Chief Technology and Product Officer at Emiza, a Series B level startup in India, where he led technology and product development. He was also the Chief Technology Officer at Picker. Mr. Dinodiya's expertise extends to working with major tech organizations such as Oyo, Lenskart, Cisco, and Wipro, leading high-performance teams across India, the US, Japan, and the Netherlands. Mr. Sandeep also conducted research at IISc Bangalore and holds a degree in computer software engineering from BITS Pilani. We are honored to have Mr. Dinodiya join us today, and we eagerly look forward to his insights. May I request Mr. Aman Verma, Coordinator, Data Analytics and Research Enthusiast Club of LBSIM, to kindly welcome Mr. Sandeep Dinodiya with a planter as a token of our appreciation. Thank you. We now hand over the proceedings of the session to the session chair, Mr. Anurag Seth. Please, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you hear me, guys, at the back? It's a pleasure to be here. So, audience, highly energetic audience. Really appreciate being here, and thank you all the co-panelists for joining me. So, the way we are looking, given that we're running a little behind, that the way we'll run the session is that all of us will go on stage and make a short 7 to 10 minute presentation about what we think around the topic in terms of what's happening around GenAI. AI in general, and of course GenAI in particular, because that's sort of the flavor of the day, as you call it, right? That's what's going to take everybody by so much of storm now. And then we'll come back to the chairs again for about a 40-minute Q&A, which I'll moderate, and then of course we'll in the end we'll keep a few questions for the audience. Does that sound good? Like a flow? Okay, so let me go first. Let me go first in terms of introducing the topic and share my thoughts, and then I'll invite other panelists to come. This of course introduction has happened. So let me, needless to say that, AI is transforming every industry we know of today. I mean, you heard so many things in the opening session. Everybody was saying, hey, we don't even know what's coming, right? We don't know what's coming. It's going to completely transform the job scene, the way we do business, and so on. Even the way we interact with machines is going to change, right? We are so used to this mouse and stuff, and clicks and drop downs and everything. Believe it, it's all changing. So the way we interact with machines, whether computers, websites, hardware, boxes, the entertainment system at home, all is going to change. So, but what's just to get a bit of a thing about that whole chart you're seeing. People think, what is this whole? People use different terms, so I want to get the same page, everybody, right? That what is AI? What is AI? What is machine learning? What is deep learning? What is generative AI? So this chart sort of summarizes that AI is all-encompassing. Anything which is artificial intelligence, and then of course machine learning are the older techniques which are used for predictive models and so on. Deep learning uses a lot of those human cognition things in terms of speech, the visual recognition, computer vision, and so on, using some convolutional neural networks. A series of large networks, deep networks. That's the reason deep learning comes from. And then a subset of that, which is generative AI, has sort of got the fancy for the world, right? And generative means anything which can mimic a human behavior in terms of generating content, whether it's text content, music content, video content, photographic content, or whatever. So anything which can generate, that's where generative AI comes in, right? But the traditional algorithms were doing more like understanding, cognition, the classification. Here is a visual, scenery. You can identify objects. So those are the traditional AI which mimics human cognition. But generative AI, the differentiation is that it essentially is able to generate creative content, whether it's text, image, or any of those modalities. Now, quickly turning to data, that about AI could contribute to up to $15.7 trillion to the global economy. That's huge, right? I mean, that's unprecedented. We haven't seen this thing before, right? And look at how the adoption is happening. This is the chart I borrowed from, McKinsey report. The latest report came in a few months ago, saying you look at the spike there between 2023 and 2024. You're seeing the adoption of AI moving from 55% to 72%, and of course, by completely the adoption of generative AI, from a 33% adoption to a 65% adoption. Here, adoption means the surveyed companies, if they're using at least one AI, they're essentially using AI in at least one of their business processes. So that's what the whole adoption talked about. Look at how it's spiking, and look at how things are changing. So let's talk about what is happening. Give you a little bit of a demo. You speak about use cases, right? So let's see a demo. Let's hear this out. There's an audio clip. How do I play this? Can you just click on that speaker and play the audio? Oh, next.
हाय अक्षय जी, मैं रिया बोल रही हूँ क्वांसिस लॉजिस्टिक्स से। क्या आपने नाइकी रनिंग शूज ऑर्डर किए थे?
नहीं मैडम, मैंने नहीं किए थे।
कोई बात नहीं, मैं देख पा रही हूँ कि आपने इंटरेस्ट दिखाया था नाइकी रनिंग शूज में। ये शूज आज एकदम बेस्ट प्राइस पर अवेलेबल हैं। इनकी कीमत है 8,800 रुपए। आप चाहें तो आज ही ऑर्डर कर सकते हैं। क्या आप इंटरेस्टेड हैं?
मैम 8,800 रुपए दूसरी वेबसाइट में थोड़ा कम प्राइस दिखा रहा था। आपका कोई डिस्काउंट वगैरह अवेलेबल तो नहीं है?
समझ सकती हूँ अक्षय जी, लेकिन अभी ये बेस्ट प्राइस है जो हम ऑफर कर सकते हैं। नाइकी एयर जूम मैक्स शूज बहुत कंफर्टेबल और ड्यूरेबल हैं और ये प्राइस उनके क्वालिटी के हिसाब से बहुत ही रीजनेबल है। अगर आप चाहें तो मैं आपका ऑर्डर कंफर्म कर सकती हूँ। क्या आप इंटरेस्टेड हैं?
मैम वो सब बात ठीक है, लेकिन अगर आप देख लो कुछ डिस्काउंट हो पाता है तो ज्यादा बेटर रहेगा।
समझ सकती हूँ अक्षय जी, फिलहाल हमारे पास कोई एडिशनल डिस्काउंट अवेलेबल नहीं है, लेकिन मैं आपको ये आश्वासन दे सकती हूँ कि ये प्राइस अभी मार्केट में सबसे कॉम्पिटिटिव है। क्या मैं आपका ऑर्डर कंफर्म कर सकती हूँ?
मैम अच्छा, इसके बारे में थोड़ा और डिटेल बताइए कि मतलब इसको पहन के स्पोर्ट्स क्रिकेट जैसे क्रिकेट वगैरह खेल सकते हैं और डेली वॉकिंग वगैरह के लिए इसका कंफर्ट कैसा है?
बिल्कुल अक्षय जी, नाइकी एयर जूम मैक्स शूज स्पेशली डिजाइंड हैं रनिंग और डेली एक्टिविटीज के लिए। ये शूज लाइट वेट हैं, जिससे आप इन्हें लंबे समय तक पहन सकते हैं बिना किसी परेशानी के। इनका कुशनिंग टेक्नोलॉजी आपके पैरों को एक्स्ट्रा कंफर्ट देती है, जिससे आप इन्हें रनिंग, वॉकिंग और लाइट स्पोर्ट्स एक्टिविटीज जैसे क्रिकेट के लिए भी यूज कर सकते हैं। इनका डिजाइन भी ट्रेंडी है, जिससे ये आपके ओवरऑल लुक को भी एनहांस करते हैं। क्या आपको और कोई जानकारी चाहिए?
मैम इनका मतलब कलर वगैरह बताइए कि कौन कौन से कलर में अवेलेबल है?
अक्षय जी, ये नाइकी एयर जूम मैक्स शूज अभी व्हाइट कलर में अवेलेबल हैं। ये कलर बहुत वर्सेटाइल होता है और लगभग हर आउटफिट के साथ मैच कर जाता है। क्या आपको और कुछ जानने की आवश्यकता है?
मैम प्रोडक्ट ओरिजिनल होगा ना, जैसे मैं पिक्चर्स में देखा था आपकी वेबसाइट पे, वही प्रोडक्ट मिलेगा ना, और कुछ तो नहीं आ जाएगा?
बिल्कुल अक्षय जी, आप निश्चिंत रहिए। जो प्रोडक्ट आप देख रहे हैं वही आपको मिलेगा। हमारे सभी प्रोडक्ट्स जेन्युइन और ओरिजिनल होते हैं। नाइकी एयर जूम मैक्स शूज आपको वैसे ही मिलेंगे जैसे आपने पिक्चर्स में देखे हैं। क्या आप ऑर्डर कंफर्म करना चाहेंगे?
ठीक है मैम, कंफर्म कर दो मेरा ऑर्डर।
So this is all AI. The agent is an AI. The voice is an AI. The whole live conversation is driven by AI. Right? It's understanding the human language. It's able to get the right answer, right responses appropriately, and speak it back in real time. All of that happening in real time. Right? So this is already happening. This is actually a demo which one of a company I advise, as an advisor, they sort of build this up in a matter of days, right? And cobbled together in a demo. They're working with some of the, I can't name the companies, they're working with some of the enterprises you know of, to really build some of these agents for them. So these are agents, what you saw at work were goal-oriented agents. These are not just general conversational agents. These are agents which are designed and programmed to really, to achieve a certain goal. Here the goal was to sell, right? Sell a particular product, understand the usage, answer questions and sell, right? That's what, if you look at everything was converging around to closing a sale the way a typical human agent would do, right? So that's sort of, this is already happening. This is what you saw as a real demo.
Big businesses and brands that suffered during the pandemic found their way back, but the smaller stores still suffer.
This lockdown has been a real tough phase of my life. I mean, I have seen bad days, but this was the worst.
Last year we helped small businesses through Diwali. So this year we decided to bring it back. Presenting not just a Cadbury ad. This Diwali, we helped hundreds of small businesses by making India's biggest brand ambassador be their brand ambassador.
इस दिवाली आप भी ना अपने पास वाले फैशन और एम्पोरियम से ही कपड़ों की शॉपिंग करना और फिर एम्पायर फुटवेयर नाम तो सुना होगा अपना स्टाइलिश चश्मा बगल वाले हेवन आई ऑप्टिशियन से ही लेना सिद्धि विनायक इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स से लेटेस्ट स्मार्टफोन खरीद कर धमाकेदार सेल्फी पोस्ट करना
क्या कर रहे हो मीठा लाए कि नहीं
लाया हो ना यार अपने पास वाले रोशन किराना से आप भी अपना मीठा वहीं से लेना
We used machine learning to recreate Shah Rukh Khan's face and voice to take the local store names in the ads.
इस दिवाली आप भी ना अपने पास वाली चॉइस ऑफ फैशन से ही कपड़ों की शॉपिंग करना पास वाले आजकल फैशन से ही रॉयल फैशन से ही एनके क्लॉथ्स से ही पास वाली लक्ष्मी कलेक्शन से ही कपड़ों की शॉपिंग करना इस दिवाली आप भी ना अपने पास
Different versions of the same ad with local store names were targeted as per the PIN code of the viewer, showing them only the nearby stores. But it is impossible to cover all the stores. So we gave the power to the people to create their own version of not just a Cadbury ad. Any small business owner could promote their stores through their own social media networks like WhatsApp forwards and other social media pages.
हमारे आसपास की जो दुकानें हैं उनकी दिवाली भी तो मीठी होनी चाहिए
Cadbury celebrations, not just a Cadbury ad.
See, this is what AI, GenAI is. Without GenAI, this wouldn't have been possible, right? So the whole personalization, record once, you might have seen Zomato sending these personal greetings. Have you used that? The whole Rakhi greetings and stuff like that, right? Again, GenAI, powered by GenAI, you actually send personal greetings to your loved ones. So this is all, so now you're left to imagination, what you can do. The art of being possible using GenAI. That's what's driving these days. So of course, GenAI is captured. So of course, GenAI is a subset of AI as we talked about. And according to Gartner, 80% of enterprises will use either generative AI APIs or applications by 2026. 80%. That's, and 2026 is around the corner, right? Another year to go, right? So that's sort of how impactful this technology has been. And they're saying that, generative AI supported work tends to be more efficient and higher quality. That's what Gartner says. And productivity improves by more than 30%, and that's a conservative estimate. The productivity gains are significantly more than 30%, applying GenAI across all processes in an organization. That's sort of what we are sitting on, right? So here is a slide which I picked, and again, in interest of time, I'll cut through it. So this is a slide I built 2.5 years ago, and it's still true. Look at the use cases from anything and everything you think of, from a text, so look at it, note-taking, summarization. Today you see, you join a Zoom call or Google Meets call, and an AI agent comes in to sort of listen to all the eavesdrop on you and sends you meeting minutes and also the action taken, action assignments and everything automatically, right? Your content creation and marketing, companies who are specializing in, all the entire copywriting is happening. Report generation, summarization, chatbot, you saw some of the things that work. Conversational analytics, in terms of, there are companies today, another company I'm advising, they're essentially building the retail analytics. So retail analytics in a very different sense. That physical stores, they're recording the conversation between the sales agent, salesperson and the customer, both from a salesperson's efficiency point of view and also from what the customer's latent needs are, what questions are being asked, what the customers are looking for. So entire analytics gets sent over, again, all using GenAI. So again, if you look at it in terms of code, people who are writing software, the whole idea of code generation, automatically using comment, put a comment, it generates code for you. It creates test cases for you. Old legacy code will pick up and summarize what the code is doing for you. So ability on the code side. Images, the entire creative aspect is completely changing. The way you catalog images, you saw some of that, right? Speech, You saw the power of speech, the video, saw the power of video, 3D asset generation. From there on, healthcare. Healthcare, I'll give you one example besides so many others, is about drug research, right? You know how much a drug research takes to one single drug coming to market? How much does it cost? Any guesses? $100, $1 million, $2 million, how much is it? Any guesses? No guess is wrong. Million? It's $2 billion. A single drug to market, the entire thing is about $2 billion. And now using generative AI, you're able, and what they do essentially is create molecules and look at the molecule toxicology and other things, and they have to run through it, a lot of simulations. It takes a long time. Generative is cutting short the time significantly, right? So amazing stuff happening in that space. There's a company which is part of my cohort at AWS, generating music. So copyright-free music. You say, here is the mode, here is the setting, please generate music for me. It generates music for you, which is copyright-free. You can use it in your background scores and everything. So anything and everything you can think of is getting impacted, right? Here is a quick summary about generative AI use cases. Again, Gartner report saying if you look at it, a lot of work happening in content creation. The ones which are blue or highlighted dark are the ones which are more in use. So adoption is happening with content creation across multiple modalities. Conversational AI, those are two areas which are really, really prominent right now, but other adoptions are following. That's what is happening in this domain, right? And in terms of what are the top projections coming from a technologist like me, agentic AI, you saw what we saw at agentic AI work, and of course, I'm sure Sandeep's going to talk a lot more about that. Inference time compute, again, idea is to see these models, we're talking at the break time, that these models are not they don't reason, by the way. I mean, they're all next word predictor sort of models, they call it. The reasoning is an ability which is now being built by having multiple layers. For example, ChatGPT is not a single model. Or GPT is like multiple models talking to each other and being able to conceive an answer which is more relevant given the questions asked, right? So all of that stuff is now getting on the edge. So a lot of that was going to happen, that models are going to get more complicated. The way the models are going to run, they're going to get more semblance of reasoning into the models and so on. And other piece people talk about is, what you're going to see is that models are going to get bigger, but people are saying that scaling loss as the models are scaling up, you're running out of data. How much data to train on? So any additional size in scaling up in terms of size of the models and size of data used to train the models is getting diminishing returns. But what's happening? That's true. So in that context, what's going to happen is you're going to see much smaller models coming in. The people talked about the green effect, the green brigade talking about hey, it's going to be, is it really green? Because the amount of energy needed to power these models, either training or even inferencing using GPUs, is going to cost you a lot of humongous amount of energy, right? So we'll see a lot of models getting inferencing on the edge. So you'll see your devices getting smarter. You talked about Meta AI is happening right on your phones, right? Your WhatsApp had Meta AI inside, right? Apple's talking about Apple Intelligence on your device. So we'll see a lot of that happening, coming those models, smaller models, which are trained using bigger models as synthetically, and they're going to be more enabled on domain-specific sort of solutioning on your hardware, which is closer to the edge, right? So that's cool. You're going to see some of that. On the scaling side, it'll scale on the domains, other domains like medical drug research, right? Like things around medical and physics simulations. That's where the models are going to scale. Not as much on the generalized models. So they're going to come scaling down by having smaller models which are trained, and that's going to happen. Advanced use cases, infinite memory, and a lot more we can talk about it. Again, a lot of tools and frameworks been developed for responsible use. People talked about a lot of things on the responsible use, but they're going to talk a lot more tools are going to come in, frameworks are going to come in. And of course, watch out for robotics. A lot more happening on the convergence of robotics and GenAI, where the robots are going to get smarter and very generalized. So I'll stop here and my initial comments, and then I'll invite one by one all the panelists to share their views. So maybe we can begin with Vaishali. Of course, we are there to answer the questions during the Q&A session, and in the end, we'll have a Q&A from the audience.
So first of all, thank you for this opportunity. And before I start the session, how many of you are actually using ChatGPT? Okay, so wonderful. And good news about AI, because we have been talking about AI in India as well. So India is leading in AI adoption at 30%, surpassing global average of 26% as per the BCG report. So according to a report, like BCG says that 30% of Indian companies are maximizing the value of AI, surpassing global average of 26%. Fintech, software and banking sectors are increasingly using AI. So that's why in my today's presentation, I focused on banking and finance sector. Again, the useful insight on AI as per BCG. So if you see the blue ones, they are the core business functions. So 62% of AI value are generated in core functions, which are operations, sales and marketing, R&D, and supply chain. And leaders are generating 62% of this value in core business processes. So yeah, so starting with so my agenda for today is application of AI, GenAI in banking and finance industry. I will then share some benefits, challenges, and bank case study. So these are some of the applications of AI and GenAI in banking and finance sector. For example, customer service, which we all are aware of, right? The chatbots, virtual assistant and all. And then is fraud detection and prevention. So this is a very important application because with the usage of increase in technology, even the security breach or frauds are happening. So AI can help you in that aspect as well, and especially GenAI, right? So it can prevent the fraudulent activities. Then risk management. So it, the GenAI helps in predicting potential risk and then suggesting mitigation strategies. Then the next is personalized financial advice, because everyone needs are different, right? So they need personalized advices as per their, or they need tailored, I would say, financial plans. So, so that's there. Then operational efficiency. So automating of routine tasks and all. Content generation, which we have also talked about in our previous sessions, that GenAI can draft reports, marketing materials, and which will help you in saving time and efforts of the employees. Then specifically in finance sector, credit scoring, for example, right? So to assess the credit worthiness by analyzing a wide range of data is one of the application. Algorithmic trading, again, AI-driven algorithmic makes trading decisions based on the real-time market data. So it leads to profitable trading. Then personalized finance, I've already covered. So these are the benefits that one gets. Enhanced because of the chatbot and virtual assistant, obviously the customer experience is increased. You get personalized plans, so that increases the customer experience. Then the operational efficiency is increased and the cost is reduced. Then, like I said, it prevents frauds and financial losses, and I will cover that in one of my case study. And it also gives businesses competitive edge over other businesses. So, but obviously with everything comes challenges. So the challenges are like ensuring data privacy and security, then managing the biases in AI model, because this has to be taken care while the data which is getting fed into the systems should not be biased. And then maintaining transparency. So I'll now move to the case study. So there was a bank, and that noticed some unusual pattern of transactions in a corporate account. And several, I would say, large sum was being transferred to offshore account. So obviously there was something wrong, right? So the detection, the bank had a fraud detection system which used advanced analytics and machine learning algorithms. So that actually flagged the suspicious activity, and this helped in the investigation. So they did some investigation and discovered that the employee within the company had colluded with the external fraudsters, okay, to siphon off the funds. So the employee had been manipulating this from a long time now. And as a response, what the bank did was they froze the affected account and initiated a legal action against them. So as a prevention, obviously, they gave regular training to the employees and also enhanced it through the internal controls and implemented a stricter, I would say, authentication. So as an outcome, the financial losses were prevented, and it also protected the reputation. So that was one of the case study. So I'll keep it short for the next, I would say, panelist. I'll welcome Kunal now. Thank you so much.
Hi. So I'm clapping for all of you to have sustained all of this time sitting here in your chairs. I want to thank you for joining here, giving your valuable time. And I would request you to ask any question that you have. Okay. Attendance हो गया ना? किसका attendance नहीं हुआ अभी? मैम सबका attendance हो गया? Okay. अभी set हो रहा है, हो गया. ठीक है. So this is me. I graduated from college in 2004. And since then my journey has been into software engineering. यहाँ पे कोई software engineer है? कोई सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर है? एक, दो, ओके, 3, और कोई है? ओके. कोडिंग किस किस को आती है? ओके, जिनको कोडिंग नहीं आती है, it is important for them to understand what is the need of coding. Why do people code? जितनी हम conversation कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे, it is all application of the code that was done by someone. What do you make out of it? We have already given you that. उसके आगे आपको बढ़ना है. ठीक है? तो अगर आप question नहीं पूछोगे, you will not get answers. If you do not get answers, you will be sitting in your chair for the rest of your life. All of these people have come here for a purpose. We have invested this extra time from our life, given it to people here. So if you do not see any value, it is okay. But because you have to respect people who come here. So take an opportunity to give a listening ear to them. And when I'm calling this, I'm not blaming you for anything. It is how we have grown ourselves. I myself has been into some of these sessions where it's very, very repetitive. So I'll take on the stand that, okay, I am here for your questions. If there's any question that you have in between, I will be okay to answer that. Now, Anurag sir ने भी बात किया था कि there are multiple areas where GenAI and AI can help. I am representing one of the companies where I was working, okay, which is Z Entertainment, okay? And what you see here is the content creation cycle. So एक script होती है, then there is imagery, and then there is voice, music, and sound effects. Okay? किसी भी content को बनाने के लिए, you need all three components to work together in sync. I am sure that you would have appreciated the quality of content that has started coming now, unlike the 90s and 80s में जो आता था. And you will see a lot of these independent creators who are creating beautiful content. वो beautiful content कैसे बनने लगा? Because of all of these technology companies which have given the power of technology to people, where people can experiment, create something quick, and be able to show to the world what they are wanting to communicate. So communication को आपको अपना एक channel बनाना पड़ेगा, and for that, if you have to use ChatGPT, it is all right. But you have to understand what is the negative side of that. ChatGPT आप अभी college में use करते हो, there is no way your teachers can assess the quality of your understanding of content. So जो आपका project होता है, if you do not spend time on that, ChatGPT से बहुत जल्दी answer निकल जाएगा. But आपकी जो creative abilities हैं, they will not get nurtured. And your ability to invest effort, your ability to reflect on the conversation, to stay in that context, would go missing. जो आज की date में we have created for all of you. The moment I give you a break, you will go on your mobile. कुछ अभी भी होंगे, Instagram के reel देख रहे होंगे. So choice आपकी है यार. आप college में हो, there are people who have come. थोड़ा सा use कर लो उस time को जो सब लोग invest कर रहे हैं आपके साथ. I was not thinking of this topic. This was not the topic, but it took a long time for me to come out of it. So at Z, what we were doing was media analytics. And media analytics के अंदर you understand what is the cycle of a content. यहाँ पे RRR किसने देखी है? कितनी languages में release हुई थी? कितनी लैंग्वेज में रिकॉर्ड होती है? रिकॉर्ड एक ही होती है. और बाकी सब में क्या होता है? डबिंग कैसे होती है? डबिंग आर्टिस्ट होता है. जो एक्टर है, he doesn't know how to speak that language. ठीक है? एंड यू अंडरस्टैंड कि वो इमोशन कम्युनिकेट करना कितना डिफिकल्ट होता है. ठीक है? वो इमोशन कम्युनिकेट नहीं कर सकता एक डबिंग आर्टिस्ट. इसीलिए दिस GenAI, this AI deep learning model are doing voice synthesis. ठीक है? So अगर मुझे पता है अजय देवगन कैसे dialogue delivery करता है, if I understand the emotion, if I have the script, I should be able to morph that script to reflect a Telugu language. ठीक है? अगर आप अभी देखते हो, जब एक नई मूवी आती है, how many people watch South Indian movies now? How many have seen South Indian movies? How many people understand South Indian languages? This is all possible because of this translation that is happening in the background. Dubbing agents are doing that work, and there is all effort made to actually communicate the same value. People in Bangalore who know Tamil, people in Bangalore who know Tamil and what is that Bangalorean language? Kannada. Okay. They go and see Tamil movies for Rajnikant because the emotion that gets communicated in their language is better. Dubbing artist जो कन्नड़ा का होता है, he can never deliver an experience of Rajnikant. ठीक है? So this is where it becomes meaningful for you. अगर हम content की बात करते हैं. But how do you go and watch any content? How do you know कि कुछ content आया that I need to see? आपने क्या देखा था लास्ट? बहुत मुश्किल हो गया, मैं नहीं देख रहा हूं बहुत दिन से. ठीक है. So who told you that? A recommendation came. ठीक है. What is other way of getting a recommendation? One is a channel where you are consuming content. It will give you recommendation. Second is there is a conversation that is happening in your circle. Okay, so if I'm releasing a new content, how do I make it talk of the town? Okay, that is where a lot of these marketing people in content companies, in media entertainment companies, in film industry, spend their time on. So जो आपको वो promotions दिखते हैं ना कि वो कपिल शर्मा शो पे कोई जाता है अपनी मूवी रिलीज करने के लिए, that is one form of marketing, that is one form of outreach. ठीक है? Now with GenAI and technologies, वो marketing studios are being built so that they can do personalization. Knowing that you watch a content like this, if there is a new content that I identify, if I know who's your favorite actor, I want to communicate through him. जो अभी हमने celebration वाली ad देखे थे ना, जो शाहरुख खान जिसमें actor थे, ठीक है? This is a very custom job that was done by a media house. ठीक है? There's an ad agency, big ad agency which creates that and then makes a plan, and that socialization happens, which is where it became the talk of the town. But all these movies have this problem that they have to reach people. So what we were doing was marketing studio. Okay, the solutions that we built there were in English, Hindi language, English. Okay, and it's very difficult to understand, right? English को आप हिंदी में translate करोगे तो it will never make sense. There is a cereal which is mithai, and it will always convert that mithai to sweet. So the moment you educate a chat GPT or a GPT version of it, any version of it, you tell that mithai is a noun, is not a sweet. The next of the translation has to happen in that. So that is a power that we can do now, where we can do this translation at a much faster speed. So one of the use cases was on image. Okay, this is generate a poster. So जो आपकी movie होती है, you need multiple posters. If I know that there are 3 actors in a movie, I know somebody has a favorite actor. ठीक है, किसी को अजय देवगन अच्छा लगता है, किसी को शाहरुख खान अच्छा लगता है, किसी को अनिल कपूर अच्छा लगता है. If a movie has 3 actors, we are building technologies, we are reaching out in a personalized manner to people, where उस character का हम identify करके poster बनाते हैं. And how do you personalize that to individuals? आप सबके पास एक individual screen है, and you yourself have become that individual जिसके लिए personalization की जा रही है. So Cadbury ad was happening on a zip code. Zip code पे कैसे होता है? Does anyone know zip code marketing कैसे होती है? वो Cadbury ad की marketing कैसे हुई होगी? Anyone who can think of it and tell me how that happened? GPS location पे. Okay. TV पे कैसे जाती है वो ad? Local channel. So local channel को already पता है, ठीक है? But अगर आप free to air channel पे broadcast कर रहे हो, you would not know कि वो local channel कहाँ से आ रहा है, right? You have not sent a specific beam to that local channel. IP address only if you are accessing through internet. Correct? So these individuals are not watching a family TV. Okay, उनका biggest screen of the house is not the way they consume content. How many people have watched content without families? How many of you see content only on the big screen of the house? Only on the big screen? No. Okay. कोई भी ऐसा नहीं है, ठीक है? So that's the change that is happening. When we say personalization, personalization is not for the world. Personalization is for you. So when we see this, right, generate poster, that's a very big capability where I associate आपको actor कौन सा पसंद है, आपको theme कौन सी पसंद है. If you are like an angry young man, मैं आपको angry young man वाला poster दिखाऊंगा. And how do I identify कि इस picture के अंदर कौन सा scene है जिसके अंदर ये angry young man लग रहा है? That's computer vision. Those are vision models for you. ठीक है? So you have this movie. In this, what you do is you identify different frames. You identify who are the different actors. You identify what is the emotion of that person in that scene. Okay. From there, automatically we will take out a frame, which is good, where the visibility of that person is greater than X%. And then we will identify you as a person who likes that kind of genre. He is the actor. And then we create a personalized poster for you. So जब आप अपनी ऐप खोलोगे और आपको वो मूवी दिखेगी, आपको वो वाला पोस्टर दिखेगा जो आपका कंटेंट स्पेसिफिक है, जो आपकी लाइकिंग्स को अट्रैक्ट करता है. ठीक है? अभी Next is generate copy, promos and trailers. Okay, promos and trailers, same theme, personalization, right? मैं आपको एक बच्चे की movie दिखाता हूँ, so you will be like, okay, sad or happy about that person if it is joyful. Okay, you know there are children in the house, you would want to show a family movie, so आप trailer को family fun times, you will have more shots where family is sitting together and eating and enjoying. Okay, you will have more of those. If you are seeing कि this promo has to be for an individual who's staying away from family, you will create a content which is more hero oriented. So same movie has different representation. And when they show you a trailer, they would want to personalize it for you. Create memes, this is a social content. Okay? How many of you create memes today? Ek. Occasionally. Second. Okay. Third. So that's an opportunity. Start becoming a creator yourself. There are tools available today. When I say a meme, it is communicating a creative side of that guy. सब लोग काला कोट पहन के एडवोकेट नहीं बनेंगे, ठीक है? Not everybody will do the same job every day. The jobs will change. जो personalized content आप create देख रहे हो, जो personalization आप bring कर सकते हो एक business ecosystem में, nobody else will. So वो robot बनने की जरूरत नहीं है. Start communicating. If you are not creating memes, that's the first form of short form creation that you can do. Start creating memes, start sharing between yourselves. जब आप अपने ग्रुप में शेयर करोगे, you will identify creative talent that is needed. टॉपिक चेंज हो गया क्या? कोई है मेरे साथ कि मैं अकेला ही बात कर रहा हूं? Okay. User engagement, preview and catch up. What is that? You missed a series. Okay, you missed few episodes. We want to make sure that you catch up to the next one. Okay, so we'll give you a breather. We'll give you some clips which gives you this communication of what happened during those missing seasons. Okay, so I'll skip few slides. So this is one of the views. Okay, one could identify, submit that these are the episodes that you want to communicate a summary on. Automatically it identifies what are the key points. If it does not have a translation, okay, if it does not have subtitle, it will create the subtitles, identify what are the key moments, then create a summary clip for you. Creating memes, RRR को popular करना है, तो marketing team ये memes छोड़ती है. You don't realize it. वो जो आते हैं आपके पास memes, जिसके अंदर अलग-अलग character होते हैं new movies के, वो इसीलिए आते हैं. So that वो जो second movie आने होती है, उससे पहले आपको ये वाले बहुत सारे memes आने लग जाते हैं. This is what people are doing to keep you engaged, bring that attention back to the content that they are releasing. Poster instantly. Now this lady has never been to a Diwali festival in the production cycle so far. Okay, but Diwali आ रही है, you have to communicate कि हमको एक Diwali special season दे रहे हैं. This is the way they do it. So mid journey is very very popularly used. ठीक है? So आप अभी कोई creative field में नहीं हो, you might find it very irrelevant for you, but you have to understand what is happening around. और वो सिर्फ एक book के chapter में नहीं मिलेगा, क्योंकि book जब छपी थी, तब हम सब ये काम नहीं कर रहे थे. I was not doing this, they were not doing this. Anurag would have seen that journey. So he's bringing that richness of that conversation. But if you are like a gentleman on the 5th seat, okay, you might miss out on that conversation. Promos and trailers, we've already spoken. Now let's see if this works. Okay.
Creators in India are always on the lookout for fresh sources of inspiration and innovative ways to create music. AI tools are unfolding a new realm of possibilities, providing a playground for artistic expression. We are creating new tools for creators, songwriters, and producers to instantly translate their ideas into music with the help of AI. In a bid to extend these possibilities to creators and fans alike, we are embarking on a new journey called GenAI. With this GenAI driven platform, you can simply input your creative concept and in return receive a unique soundtrack for your project.
Any musicians here? Somebody plays music?
Hum a melody and create an instrument.
Know how
out
to
of it.
play an instrument?
Explore endless possibilities and start creating with GenAI. Creators in India.
So that is music studio for you. Okay, what is music studio? What is music? What does music do? Music communicates emotions. जब आप मूवी देखते हो एक अच्छा सा साउंड ट्रैक चल रहा होता है बैकग्राउंड में, योर नथिंग इज हैपेंड, ओके, बट एक बैकग्राउंड म्यूजिक अपबीट चल रहा होता है, सो यू ऑलरेडी फील दैट कि कुछ होने वाला है, राइट? दैट्स द म्यूजिक कम्युनिकेटिंग इमोशंस टू यू. There's a lot of work that is happening in the music area, okay? But all are Western instruments. Why? Because they were digitized earlier. So there is a digital version of all the instruments which are used in Western today. But अगर आप Indian instruments देखोगे, you will not find the correct representation of that digitally. So there is a whole opportunity for music to be Indianized, where you can create and give more power to people. So ये वाली slide के अंदर we'll just hold it. अगर कोई example देखना है तो I'll show you one example, which is the last slide. So you see this 1.5 billion descriptors, 5,300 hours of music and 14 genres. Okay, this is a model that was built in-house in India. Okay, जो H100, who was speaking about the H100? हाँ? हाँ, but it started with H100 से भी ऊपर H200 आ गया. Okay, so this was trained on that. How many people did this? 8 people. 8 people in the team sourcing the data, converting that. उसके लिए annotate करना होता है. Everything has to be annotated. You tell this is, what node is this? You need to define that. When you have a complex music, you have to break it down into individual instruments. Okay, and then create that layer which can be taken as an input to your model. Okay, थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो गया. ठीक है. So that's an Indian foundational model that we were building. And if the slides allow me to go forward, the screen is not changing. Okay, so I'll close with this slide. Okay. किसी ने सुना ये? रील में बहुत आता है. Foundational model that we were building was using this as input. So this is the input melody that I gave. And I said that, okay, I want to create my own version of this in an Indian instrument. That's the example of a foundational model output. Thank you. We'll be here for questions. I'll pass on the mic to Sandeep.
Hello. I think you guys bored, it seems. Okay. A lot of things have been spoken. I think I have been in your place, I would have been bored. Let me be frank. Okay. But yeah, I know. I think thank you so much for bearing with us. It's very much technical. I know that. And most of us are not, giving the details about it which we don't like it or, But anyway, so first of all, I mean, I'll go about it. Why do we need it? I mean, why we are talking about it? Why do we need it? And these questions I have been hearing from my investors to my customers. Both are largely like that only because a lot of people doesn't know and we can't blame them even. And same question goes for you or for me as well, for the matter of fact. Why do we need it? Because technology landscape been changing for a while. I hope you guys are at least 20 years old, so you have seen digitizations, internet also been evolving. Blockchain, I guess, because the recent ones, and I think AI is also blasted. So, and then more or less, you might be hearing agentic AI also recently. I think this last year you have been seeing it for a while, and before that it was more about ChatGPT because Cat was out and everyone was playing with technology and everyone understanding as well. So let's understand from some of the fundamental, okay? What we are seeing is very minute problem. Largely 9 out of 10 people usually do mundane and repetitive tasks, and that include you and me both. Initially, you always be inquisitive, you learn it, and after that you repeat it. This is what we do entire our lives, and this is what is happening. And that include be it professors, be it student, everyone. And that is massive problem in enterprises. Because where we come over the desk and do the same, and that include all the departments. Whether you're in tech, product, finance, marketing, sales, anything. It means we usually spend, less than 3 hours a day on creative work. What do you mean? I think I don't need to tell what is creative work. And that's 81% of people does that. And usually we spend less than 3 hours in a week for, I would say, strategically thinking. Hey, what do I need to do with me or something or my work or something like that? And both of them combining innovations. And that's how the world changed. Why we are talking about it now? It's been there for a while. And what is it impact even? So let's say if you join an organization in somewhere and you are not liking it, you spend 6 months and then company paid you for 6 months and they have misallocated your talent to somewhere and that impacting heavily. You and definitely the company and organization. Its impact is $8.9 trillion. And which is 10%, roughly 10% of total GDP. Forget about it. We are, where we are as India. So this is a kind of massive problem we are solving. We usually say if you are not building in this times, you are losing it. I don't think so. You usually get a 2 chance to build something incredible. This is what it is. And if you're missing it, believe me, we'll be talking about someone, hey, he was there at the place. Now, come back to the point. If this is the case, what is stopping you and me to do that? Because that's also a fundamental question. Now, think about it. I think these technology can do that. But who can build it? Fundamentally, engineers can build it. Let's not go away for it. Because these are the engineering problem. Now, how many engineers in this world? Approximately 30 million, 30, across the world. Now, all of them can build? No. By the way, no. Only few thousands who really understand ML at core, we call them, let's say, researcher, or they are building all foundational model, which largely we call it LLM or other kind of models as well, which we are doing it even for a while now. There are few millions data scientists who we call it understand NLP as, and let's say 3 to 5. There are few million application engineer like Java, C++, blah, blah. And there are QA, UI, UX, and so on. If the problem is big and the who can solve is also like 30 million, it means there is a huge opportunity. Also, all of them can't build it. Now, if all of them can't build it, now you give it to something to build it. Now there is another fraternity, which is product manager, and then the business people like you will be going somewhere, you will be doing the same job. Hey, let's build something, and then you will be writing PRDs, you writing maybe, depend on the what kind of stream you will be choosing to join, and the same thing. How do you automate your work and so on? And this is not about being a B2C, it's all about the businesses, large enterprises. Now, if this is that, then this is another problem, right? And more or less, whenever you go to someone, there is a fundamental question. Yaar, automation तो already हो चुका है, करना क्यों है? I think, मुझे नहीं पता, ये question fundamentally आया, मुझे बहुत बार आया है. And specifically, I was talking to Gartner, and they were telling कि these problems being already solved. I mean, yes, absolutely solved. There is no deniability. Last 20, 25 years, we have been doing that, right? And we have solved some of them using automation, using RPAs, using rule-based, and so on, right? मैं आपको एक कहानी सुनाता हूँ. क्यों चाहिए? एक बार एक राजा था. I'll not take much time, maybe 5-10 minutes I'll take. So एक राजा था. One day he was like, and then his servant was there, and one is prime minister. So the servant was largely available for 24/7, and one day he was asking ki, hey, I am doing a lot of work for king, and king doesn't give me the kind of power and respect I needed. Eventually this question comes up, right? Then king realized, and one day he was asking, hey, my lord, why you give a lot of respect to prime minister, and why don't you give it to me? I am available for you. Then king realized, hey, something gone into his head. Let's talk. One day he was realizing a lot of horses down there from the fort he has seen, and then he was telling, hey, see that what's happening down there. Then he said, okay, my lord, I'll go and check. Within an hour he came back, and he was telling, my lord, there is a seller, and who is selling horses? He was telling, who is the seller, and how many horses he has? He said, I didn't ask. He again went down, came back in an hour. Then he was telling, there is a seller called Rasid, and he is selling horses, and there are 500 horses. He was telling how many colors of the horses are there. He said, I didn't ask. Again he went down. Like that, the stuff gone into till morning to evening. He said, okay, you just sit down. He called the prime minister. He said, hey, just the same question. Hey, go down there, what's happening? Within 2 hours, he came back. He was telling, my lord, there is a famous sailor who came from Kabul. His name is Rashid. He is having 500 horses, 300 white, 100 are black, 100 are gray. Each horse price are 1500 dinar. We have 2,800 horses in our army. We need 350 more. And I negotiated to 1350 dinar, and he is so generous, he is giving 3 horses in the name of the king. This is what the deal is. So there is no harm. He also did the job. He also did the job. And there is no, by the way, this is the story. Usually I tell my investor, this is happening. So I think in this case, AI is nothing but the prime minister. It's not about, doing that. The guy is also doing his job, but the context is missing. The supposed what analysis he or she need to do is missing. That's what it is happening in entire era. Do we need to change? Yes, absolutely we need to change, because the way we think, the way we write, the way everything gonna change. And believe me, next 3 to 4 years, I don't think so you and me will be doing is like, it's all altogether different. I've been seeing from the ground even. Like things are changing massively. And I'll take one more example from this. So there is an organization, I'll not take the name, it's one of the biggest in India, conglomerate in India, you can say that, everybody knows maybe if I said that. So it's like they're processing loans applications, 100,000 of them in a month, and there is 1 million applicants that apply for. Approximately $15 billion of dispersion is happening. Now the point is there are approximately 60 type of document required. I'm telling you the problem, why this is needed. And by the way, they are equipped to have all kind of automation. Now, once the document, comes around it, one guy who just sit and then do the classification. What do you mean by classification? कि ये आधार कार्ड है, ये पैन कार्ड है, ये बैंक स्टेटमेंट है, ये इंडिविजुअल ने अप्लाई किया है या कंपनी ने अप्लाई किया है, उनके डायरेक्टर्स का उनका वेबसाइट पे देखना, blah 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 blah. And that required 4 hours to do that for a guy. Now think about it, 1 million application and 4 hours. You do the math. What kind of wasting we are doing. Now the next, there are companies within these line who is doing each document and parsing and analyzing them is like, there are multi-billion-dollar companies, I can't take the name, and they all are in red flag and threat. Because people will realize slowly that, hey, this is what it is happening. Now, there is a context is also missing because someone go in the email chain, see that who approved this loan, what, is there over limit, what is RBI regulations, and so on, and it's all happening manually because there is no point, there is no rules also there is no company in those lines. Also, then there is a report generation happening. Usually, if you see, in best case, you will get your loan within 10 to 15 days. Now, what could be the life after this? It could be in minutes, literally in minutes. It's 20 minutes you can entirely process. Or maybe if you put a human in the loop, we call it expert in the loop, whatever that you call it, that guy just check the, the authenticity of all the data and everything, you can process within an hour. Now think from that company perspective, how much they can save it. As simple as that. They are not talking about anything. They are saying, hey, I'm saving straight away $10 million. Why do I not, go into this rather than believing the other way? This is what it is happening right now. And it will be more matured down the line. If I talk about another use case, let's say, so there is another company is like, overseas. They does analysis on, every company publish their results quarterly, bi-quarterly, or let's say yearly as well. Based on those results, there is an analyst, financial analyst. By the way, they are not, common analyst. Their salary range looks like $300,000 to $900,000, close to $1 million. They are finest ones. They take those document and analysis them. They take around 6 to 24 hours a time to analyze one document and extract about 200 type of values, which is directly and indirectly referenced. Now, let's say if you process them, how much time do you need? Minutes. What is the accuracy? Accuracy might get dropped. How do you solve it? So there is a, ways to solve it, but I'm not going in a solving problem. Now, think about it. Will company adopt it? Yes, absolutely adopt it. Because now you can say that, hey, let's say the document is 97% accurate, but it give you all the aspect of it, and that guy can just check it and edit it also a certain level. You can say that, hey, if 3% error rate, I need to go back and check all the documents, the time remains the same. But no, while ingesting your document, you can say that what page you have extracted the data, what confidence scores, and while you hovering it, you can see the page itself that it means read and correct it also at the same time. It will save at least 70 to 90% of time in a really, really average cases even. Now, if this is the case, they are saving how much money? And they have about hundreds of analysts. I'm talking about the bigger one. Is like, they are like, might be the JP Morgan of the world, or, Barclays, or, many one even. So now, this could be the cases. So this is happening. Now come back to the original question. If this is the case, how do you build it? Building is important because let's say we talked about LLMs and a lot of, and then this is based on the, let's say, industry to industry being BFSI, be it healthcare, media and entertainment, be it legal, everything will be disrupting. And the opportunity is massive. I mean, massive is like, you won't get this chance. And adoption is not yet happened. Since let's say you coming out from this, I don't think so. It's a better time that we are living in. So this is what it's happening in my opinion. How you build it, I think from that perspective, like, to solving this problem, I founded the SimplAI, like largely, and for the enterprises perspective that can, scale immensely, that can secure your data and do that. And that's what I've been doing. But yeah, I mean, largely want to talk about it, how we are solving it, what time are you in, how things are happening. Happy to take any questions you have. I may be just perfectly fine.
Yeah, so I think we can just open up
Yeah,
now
yeah.
for Bunny to
Perfect.
come together. So I think in interest of time, we think all of us have taken
we have less time.
so passionate about the area, so we've been sort of sharing our experiences. But instead of me now moderating and asking panelists questions, I want to open up to the audience. I'm sure you heard a lot by now. So please open up. In between, I'll chime in. If there is a gap between your questions, I'll chime in. But why don't we open up for questions to the audience? Any one of us? Yes, please.
Good afternoon, panelists. My name is Akshay Goyal. So my question is, like, if we are learning recently about machine learning, so most of the models are mathematics based. Their underground working is based on mathematics, and we have recently saw that Google has manufactured a Willow chip, which is based on quantum computing. So will quantum computing can be applied to machine learning so that it can be more efficient than it now is?
Anyone want to take that question?
Answer is nutshell yes. But let me tell you, I mean, you're going, I think, okay, it's a good to ask a deeper question. There is no deniability. But think about it. I think a lot of people having this kind of, myth that LLM you need to tuned, trained also. You don't need to, by the way. You can start using, and that's what, with the even though enterprises I'm talking about, forget about the compute or training or using quantum or using GPUs or maybe dedicated AI chips also, which some of them I think already building. But largely is like, it's depend on the what kind of problem you are solving. Let's say you are solving a B2C kind of problem, or that data doesn't matter for that, it's going over the internet or so, and then you might use the closed source model such as OpenAI or ChatGPT or so. But if you are solving a problem of, let's say, healthcare, which accuracy is required, that you required a fine-tuned training also, that required on larger data set, it means you required a machine that can operate on scale as well and reduce the electricity that quantum will help to reduce that. So I think that way depend on the problem statement, what are we solving, how are we solving even.
So I think just to add to that, I think as Sandeep pointed out, that do not have to, you mentioned about the mathematics behind it, right? Don't have to bother about it. I think that's the whole idea, that's the whole transformation taking place. That as a user, you do not need to train the model. Earlier what happened was traditional AI and ML, I'm teaching the preachers here because you've been teaching deep learning. You're required to train the model for every use case you're developing, right? That's a change which has taken place. That today use a foundation model, whether it's a OpenAI or whether it's Anthropic or whether it is Llama from Meta, which is open sourced, which is pre-trained. They're trained on humongous amounts of data, and you don't have to be a deep AI expert to start leveraging those models. And that's the change which has taken place. So you need to wake up to the change. And it's a good time to come out and graduate and get into the industry because you've been sort of playing around. I saw a lot of hands raised, everybody using ChatGPT, which is actually a great situation to be in. When I came into the industry, there was no internet. When I started working in 1991, by the way, in 1990, my master's dissertation was on neural networks. And the core propagation network that the networks use is still the same. The math hasn't changed. Right, but the volume has changed, the scale has changed.
Thank you, sir.
Any more questions? Everybody's quiet. Yeah, please, on that corner. Yeah, on that corner there, please.
Good afternoon, panelists. My question is to Kunal, sir, and one of the slides that Vaishali ma'am showed pointed out the fact that most of the use cases of AI, or the largest number, are going to be in content creation. And you also showed how Rasputin was, changed into a sitar and a tabla version. So my question is, how the media landscape or the companies in content generation, distribution, they are protecting the rights of content creators. Because someone originally created Rasputin, somebody would have created some other tune or music. Now there could be a similar AI application or desperate attempt by some other company to just tweak it enough to make it different to pass the copyright tests, but not really different enough to the consumer's ears or eyes. So what is the industry doing about it, or how's the landscape shaping in that sense? The last part.
Thank you for the question. I understand the concern that you're bringing up front, and that is a constraint that we are living with today. So when I showed you these examples, these are examples that we have taken from what is available on the internet, but the model that we created was built on proprietary data that we had. So जिसके selling rights, जिसके usage rights, company के पास थे, ठीक है? So I understand the complexity when it gets democratized. How do we ensure IP rights control में हो? But one of the applications of these things is also into that. So if you look at content creation today, there are a lot of these channels, regional channels, which are using different music. Somebody may have music that they are using today, which they bought years back. Okay. Now, as content creators, new content creators get added, they do not know what is the right on that music piece. So there are a lot of these undercurrent or currently legal allegations that people continue to engage in today, where somebody has used a previous copyrighted data or music. That is something that we can resolve through these capabilities that we are building. So there is no one answer to that. This is an open debate for IPR from a GenAI or from this capability perspective. But for the model that we used, the data that was used was our own data, which was proprietary data and licensed.
So I think, as he said, there could be multiple answers, right? So I'm privy to some discussion. So what is happening is that you absolutely $1 million question. There are a lot of foundation model companies, when the brands are using them to generate their copyright, to generate their copyrights and so on. Now they want indemnification that the image which is generated is essentially IP free. But now, so essentially you have to indemnify. The model I have developed has used the training data which does not have any proprietary issues with that. So brands are now asking for indemnification, right? So a lot of people who are building the models now, some of the companies are rebuilding the models by fresh amount of data by making sure that the proprietariness of the training data used is cleaned. That's one. I'll give you another example. So that's going to happen. So you're going to have the models which are going to indemnify, and since you're going to do the prompting, so the generation of what happens, because it's your prompt, you legally would have rights to that image which comes out. It's like for image models, right? The data is non-proprietary, and what comes out is using your prompt, which is your IP. So what comes out is also owned by you. So those are things which are happening. We have also discussed an interesting model, specifically one of the things which I was sideways conversing with him, company, I can name them openly, another company doing music generation. Their methodology is very different. What they've done is they've used 70 or 80,000 music clips, and they've integrated that, and using those clips, they have sitar clip, all the clips, which is actual recording, this is not synthetic. The data of generation is not synthetic. It is actual music recorded in a studio, and that music clips have been used to really, they've sort of disaggregated the clips. So there's a clip which has multiple instruments. They disaggregated different instruments and they've stored it now. Now they're generating it basis your prompt. You're saying, I need a melodious music which is sad or whatever it is and so on. So they pick up the right instruments and they sort of combine them together. That's the model they've created, and generate music for you on the fly. Now they're using, but the clips are essentially from actual recordings. Now they can now say that the music I generated for you has 20% sort of content from artist A, 30% content from artist B, 2% from artist C, and you can now monetize them accordingly. So there are different interesting models which can emerge. So again, just to give you it's also not end of the debate. There's a lot of debate happening, but there are a lot of interesting opportunities to build interesting business models.
Just want to add one point. That's where ethical practices come into picture, because that's with every new technology or every new thing, there is a sense of responsibility, and I think that's where even government plays a role. For example, in European Union, right, there is a GDPR, data privacy laws are there, right? So that, I think, needs to be improved in India or with any technology, so adoption. Yeah.
if you want to build, right, I mean, just check the licenses. Go for open source, check the licenses. Largely, if it is Apache 2.0 or MIT, I think nobody can claim it, largely. I mean, you can build on top and monetize it, and I think that's what it is, usually. So check the license. Important. That's the more important part in it. If you are building, you want to call it themselves tomorrow that, you know, no one can come to you, hey, you have taken mine because it's open source. Everyone is contributed to that.
Next question, please. We'll have a few more questions. I don't know, we have to, getting these that we have to finish fast. So a few more questions. Yeah, somebody? Oh, okay. All right, so thank you so much, you know, for being a patient audience. Thank you to all the panelists.
Thank you all for your insightful contribution and enthusiastic participation in today's session. A heartfelt thank you to our distinguished speakers and esteemed session chair for sharing their invaluable expertise and forward-thinking perspectives. We hope this session has sparked meaningful ideas and inspired innovative approaches to leveraging AI for driving efficiency, fostering innovation, and reshaping the future of business processes. May I now request Dr. Kavita Pabreja to kindly felicitate Mr. Anurag Seth with a memento as a token of our gratitude.
May I now request Dr. Achal Gupta to kindly felicitate Mr. Kunal Gupta with a memento as a token of our gratitude.
May I now request Dr. Rini to kindly felicitate Ms. Vaishali Sakhuja with a memento as a token of our gratitude.
May I now request Dr. Smita Dayal to kindly felicitate Mr. Sandeep Dinodiya with a memento as a token of our gratitude.
Now I would like to request Dr. Kavita Pabreja, Faculty LBSIM, to present the vote of thanks for the session.
Good afternoon. The louder you are, faster I will be. Good afternoon. Very good. So let's begin by giving a big round of applause to our esteemed guests for their wonderful technical session. Okay. So respected guests, faculty members, dear students, ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor and privilege to extend the vote of thanks on behalf of LBSIM at this technical session. First and foremost, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to our esteemed session chair, Mr. Anurag Seth, for sparing his valuable time from his busy schedule. He didn't he didn't delay in just confirming his confirmation for this session, and his session had been very meaningful and useful for our students because they gone through many personalized advertisement examples, AI agents, and so on. And I also extend my thanks to Mr. Sandeep for telling practical examples to understand the need for AI in this era. Then I extend my thanks to Mr. Kunal for sharing his expertise on leveraging generative AI for media industry and for the recommendation engine examples that he has elaborated upon. Thanks to Ms. Vaishali for shedding light on the real-world examples for the banking and finance industry. The collective wisdom that has been shared by all of these valuable guests, it has been helpful for making this session not just informative but inspiring for everyone else. I also wish to extend my deepest gratitude to our chairman, then our respected director, the conveners, the entire organizing team. The meticulous planning and the tireless efforts have ensured the seamless execution of this session. Thanks to the distinguished faculty members, the administrative staff, the technical staff team. The contributions by the technical staff team, they work behind the scenes, but they are very important for creating this environment, which is very important for the learning and seamless execution of the program. I also wish to thank the DARE Club, the management grid, the dedicated student teams. Finally, a big thanks to all the students and the attendees for their patient listening. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. As we conclude this session, I'd like to extend our heartfelt thanks to all our guests for such an insightful and engaging session.